Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over a potentially cold and snowy start to October. For the first at least 15 days of October, we're going to be going into a very cold time period, and we're also going to be dealing with a couple of snow events, especially for the Rockies, the mountainous west, and also for parts of the Great Lakes and interior Northeast. We could be looking at a couple of snow events. We're going to be talking about that, especially in the later half of the video. In the first half of the video, we're going to be going over your temperature anomaly forecast from some ensemble models. So let's get right into it here. Let's start off with your current National Weather Service page. We have freeze warnings in effect for parts of Idaho and Washington, as well as another area in southern Idaho where you have frost and freeze warnings in effect. We also have some freeze warnings for northwestern Colorado. We see some red flag warnings dotted across parts of the western United States, and also some air quality alerts in effect for parts of Wyoming, Colorado, and California there. We also see some wind advisories dotted across the central part of the country for parts of Montana, the Dakotas, into Oklahoma, and parts of Texas, as well as New Mexico there. And then we see some dense fog advisories for parts of Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia, as well as Mississippi and Louisiana there. So other than those advisories and warnings, there isn't a lot going on in terms of watches and warnings. Now let's start talking about your temperature anomaly forecast. Now this is going to show you your departure from normal, whether that be warmer or colder than what is typical. Now this is using an ensemble model. This is a combination of 51 members. This is the European ensemble model, and we're going to be looking at the temperature anomaly forecast for this. And then in the later part of the video, we're going to actually start talking about the potential snowfall threats. Now, let's start off here. You notice those watches and warnings, especially for frost and freezes across parts of the Northwest. That's because currently we have a cold air mass that's in place. This would be for practically right now when I'm recording, and yes, we do have a cold air mass in place that'll be bringing some chilly temperatures to those areas. Notice across much of the eastern United States, as well as parts of the southwest, we're looking at some warm temperatures, but that is soon going to change as you get this big upper trough to dip down into parts of the eastern United States. So let's play this through. Here would be by this morning, so practically as I'm recording this right now, here would be by Monday morning. So tomorrow morning, we're looking at the cold temperatures really moving along, and they're going to be moving into parts of the central and also the Rockies there, the central U.S. and the Rockies, where you could be seeing temperature anomalies that are near 4 to 5, maybe 6 or 7 degrees Celsius below normal, which is about 12 or 14 degrees Fahrenheit below normal. Now, this is an ensemble model, so this isn't going to give you an exact amount of how below or above normal you will be. This is going to give you generally where the below or above normal temperatures are going to be. Later on in the model run, you'll see that the values really start to lessen. That's just because there's less certainty. So if you see some very vibrant colors, if you see, for example, 10 degrees Celsius below normal, that indicates the models have a lot of certainty in that. If you see maybe 1 or 2 degrees below normal, that indicates the models are somewhat varying in their solutions. Now, let's continue this forward here. This would be by Tuesday morning, and we're looking at those cold temperatures continuing throughout parts of the central U.S. The East Coast still in that warm air, and also for the West Coast, you're still in that warm air. Now, let's continue here. This would be by Wednesday morning, September 30th, and we're looking at those cold temperatures now moving into parts of the Southeast and also the Great Lakes by this point. Here would be by Thursday, October 1st, and if we go back 1 second, or one frame here, this is the day before. So this is Wednesday morning. Look at up there in parts of Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and all throughout the northern plains. It's well above, or it's moderately above normal, near slightly above normal. But then as we move into Thursday, it completely flips, and we end up turning to below normal for those regions. So this is going to be happening over the next 24 to about 72 hours, where we're going to switch from extreme warmth to extreme cold, especially over the eastern half of the U.S. Now, here would be by Friday morning, October 2nd, and we're looking at much of the areas east of the Rockies, looking at those cooler than normal temperatures. Now let's continue this forward here, but here would be by Saturday morning, October 3rd. Even for the eastern half of Canada, you guys are also getting into this cold air, and even look down there in Mexico. Much of Mexico, especially the eastern half, is also in that colder than normal temperatures. So this is happening throughout much of North America, where we're seeing a big pattern switch from extreme warmth to extreme cold, and it's going to be happening very quickly. And don't be surprised if some areas, especially in the Great Lakes and the Northeast and also parts of the plains, start getting either frost and freeze warnings to pop up. Now, here would be for October 4th, Sunday, and we're looking at those cold temperatures again, still from the plains eastward. We're looking at those cold temperatures, and they're centered over parts of the southeast, but we see two different areas of cold air. So we're going to see about 3 or 4 different waves happening at the same time that are going to come down from Canada and resupply that cold air before the cold air eventually will move out. Now, here would be your first area of cold air. This is your first low pressure, and then we have another one that's dipping down and forming over parts of the Great Lakes that's going to dip further to the south. So we're going to see a lot of resupplying cold air waves that are going to move through, and that'll supply some more cold air from Canada. Now you see that wave moves further to the south and to the east. This would be by Monday morning, October 5th. Here's by Tuesday morning, October 6th. Let's move this forward a little bit more. Here would be by Wednesday morning, October 7th, and we're starting to see that supply from Canada get cut off because we have high pressure starting to build in over parts of Canada. So there's really no way for this cold air to get supplied anymore. This would be by October 7th, and I think this pattern will change probably by late October, early November. We'll be dealing with the same pattern most likely that we're dealing with over the next 24 to 72 hours. But now we don't have any supply from Canada, so this cold air is going to start to weaken, but it's also going to start to stay stationary. You have high pressure out to the east, you have high pressure out to the west, and you have high pressure to the north, and you have high pressure also, you can't see it on the screen, but to the south. So this cold air is now trapped over the eastern United States, and look what happens. It's just going to sit there over the next few days. Here would be October 8th, October 9th, and then this would be October 10th by this point. Now let's start talking about who will be seeing snowfall throughout this period. Now you might be wondering, what am I looking at on my screen? Now this is a map that I made using the European ensemble model, showing you how many of the ensemble members are showing snowfall, at least a dusting for each individual region. So there's 51 ensemble members, and I'm showing you how many of those ensemble members are showing snowfall, at least a dusting in any of these highlighted regions. Let's start off in this kind of light blue shade, 4 parts of the Cascades in Washington and Oregon, 32 out of the 51 models indicating some snowfall for that region. Now let's move on to parts of Idaho, Utah, Nevada, and also that also includes the Sierra Mountains in Nevada and California. 22 out of the 51 model runs showed some snowfall for those regions. Now let's move on. All of the model runs, all 51 model runs showed snowfall, at least for some portions of the northern and central Rockies. Here for parts of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. We have 18 out of the 51 model members showing some sort of snowfall, and there's again 51 models, so this is about probably 25% of them. Here would be for the Southern Rockies and also into the Southwest. 12 of the models show some sort of snowfall for this region. Now this is where it starts to get interesting, where the Plains, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast. I'll be showing you how many of those model members showed snowfall for those regions. 21 of the model members showed snowfall for the Northern Plains, including the Dakotas, Nebraska, Eastern Wyoming, and eastern Montana there. 44 of the members showed snowfall, at least in some proportion, for parts of Minnesota, Iowa, and the northern Great Lakes. We have 2 models showing some snowfall for parts of the central Appalachians. Now here would be 4 parts of Pennsylvania, New York, and also for Vermont there, where you're looking at about 6 of those models showing some sort of snowfall for those regions. And then for parts of northern New England and the interior Northeast, we're looking at 15 out of the 51 models showing some sort of snowfall, and this is only going through October 12th. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little demonstration, and I found it quite interesting to look at it, and I think it really presented the data easier. In the previous videos, I was showing you individual model members, and I don't really think that was driving the point across, because those are, again, only individual model members. I think by doing it in this format, I think it got the point across a little bit better. If you guys enjoyed this type of this type of format, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you have any questions about your area and what you should expect in terms of this big cooldown, I'll be answering all the comments and questions down in the comment section below. And definitely, if you have any questions, leave them down below. Anyways, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.